So, support for supply chain. Alan Murray goes on to ask, how do they support the supply chain? Are we talking about subsidies? And he's asking about China. Dr. Shi replies, no. For example, First Solar is very successful. Why? First Solar has a whole supply chain within the company because in thin film they're vertically integrated from glass to the panel. But for the silicon-based solar industry, you have a very long supply chain and any single company cannot do it. You need a big group of enterprises to focus on each section of the supply chain to innovate and improve manufacturing efficiency and reduce cost. Mr. Chenevert also puts in, I would say that the rate at which China embraces that technology and their willingness to integrate between, for example, HVAC, lighting, etc. in buildings is perhaps a faster pace because of all this new construction. And then Mr. Strassel, or actually Ms. Strassel, Kimberly Strassel, weighed in. If you're manufacturing products, is China simply going to beat us every time because costs are lower there? Do you want to invest significant amounts of money to compete with that? Mr. Pinto says, that's the way it might be today, but where you've got the manufacturing scale, since that's such a big factor in improving the technology, scale plus technology is going to win. Where would you invest? The place where they're investing in the scale, wherever that may be. And so Alan Murray of the Wall Street Journal asked Dr. Shi, what is your advice for the United States? Dr. Shi says, I've lived in the Western world for 14 years, and I sometimes feel there's perhaps too much democracy here. And Mr. Murray asked, too much democracy? Dr. Shi replies, there are no decisions being made. It's like in a company, sometimes you hear all the voices. The CEO knows what the right decision is, and sometimes they just want to bang the table and say, let's do it. There are many voices in the United States. I do have to agree there. All right, so there's so much more in this issue. I'm not going to read too much further, except for a small part where they're talking about the future.
Thanks for being here tonight. I will stop there, but it was great to see you here. Great to have your spirit here. Thanks for having me. This is awesome, isn't it? What's up? Wow. Next person I want to introduce is Representative Bruce Hunter. A man who spent 15 hours fighting this bill. I think he might have recovered enough to give a speech right now, so.
Thank you. I'm going to be very brief today because we've got a lot more we could say in the next several days or weeks ahead. I want to thank you though. This is really what democracy looks like. Thank you. There are 60 Republicans in the House.
And so they're asking about food, healthier food and wellness. So the future includes the road for electric cars, heading for wellness, cleaning up coal, and then a windy future. So all those issues are commented on in this issue, a very interesting issue of the Wall Street Journal. Okay, so we're back in Iowa.
Then it shrunk to 500. So to get it back to 1.2, what are they doing? They're giving $1 million worth of tax cuts to people that don't need them. Walmart don't need a tax cut. Blue Cross Blue Shield don't need a tax cut. But we need state employees, we need public sector employees, we need teachers on the job doing what they do every day, taking care of Iowa's most vulnerable. That includes kids, that includes the elderly.
So this is the Friday, March Oh, this is posted to Des Moines Register.com, and the date on it is March 11th at 10 p.m., which is last Friday, 10 p.m. Iowa's Promise Lies in Rural Area 2. This was submitted by Craig Lang of the Iowa Farm Bureau Federation. He's the president, and he's also a fifth-generation Iowa dairy farmer. He says, as a 50-year-old native of the small town of Brooklyn, I take exception to the recent Register essay that says the future of our state depends solely on the draw of city vision. This is the February 20th opinion section. Many Farm Bureau members who live in rural Iowa know that one's success is more dependent on hard work than happenstance of zip code. Programs such as Iowa Farm Bureau's Renew Rural Iowa assure the success of companies like New World Amaranth in Dyersville. The company's gluten-free products are now found in Whole Foods chains and many other outlets. Yes, we need more people to come to Iowa, but we need to see the potential of our entire state. This isn't about urban versus rural. This is about seeing the value of all the state and its people and the opportunities of employment and education within.
And you're going to fight for it too.
And so he's talking about the vision. He's talking about the city vision, which was, I believe, a reference to the Capital Crossroads survey or the community visioning effort from 2010 going forward. And I did happen to look on the website to see if there had been any updates, and there are. They released an FAQ. Apparently, there have been many questions in following up on that survey, so you can check that out. I don't have everything here. I'm just going to touch on a few. They wanted to clarify the geography of the whole community vision. That's a 50-mile radius of the capital, so it's not just Des Moines Metro. It's not just Des Moines or Des Moines Metro. It's actually a 50-mile radius, and so that also includes 8 counties surrounding Polk, extending into Guthrie, and then also the Clark counties too. And so they also touched again on the participants, 50 one-on-one interviews with influencers, innovators, and thought leaders. They also included 30 targeted focus groups, and then 2 online surveys that gathered over 4,000 responses. There were 135 attendees at the January 19th public meeting. This was at the Botanical Center, which I also attended and reported on for Blue.Green.Fusion. There's going to be another public meeting scheduled this April 26th. And so if you missed the interviews, if you weren't included in the target groups, if you missed the survey, and if you missed the meeting, this may be the last chance, because this meeting is where they're actually going to comment on the draft plan to meet the needs of the community vision, to address the community vision survey.
You need Boston!